Welcome to the Cluttered Corner. I'm Chelsea, and what I do here is I basically just make random stuff and I chat to you while I'm doing it. So if that sounds good to you, stick around because that's what I'm going to do today. So actually today what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some speed sketching, and I've got my folder of Unsplash pictures open here. Unsplash is just a place where you can get like royalty-free pictures, so I like to use them as drawing references, and I will show them on the screen as I do it. I'll add that in, and I will also put in what are those called? Links. I will put links down in the description in case you want to get the pictures for yourself. And as you can probably see, I have got ink on my hands because I refilled my pen. It dried out last time. All right, I'm just gonna try and pick a random picture. What do I got? Okay, it's picture some cherries. Also, if I land on one randomly that I have already like done before, I'm not going to do it. Because once I do one, I feel kind of like it's used up, and I don't know why. That's probably, I don't know, probably not really the best way to like go about drawing. But in my brain, it feels like, oh, I've already thought through all those shapes. I've already thought through all the things. And then it feels kind of, I don't know, like it's been done, you know. So this is like a, well, I mean, you'll have seen it by now, but it's just like a bowl of cherries with a towel. Well, they're on a towel, and there's a lot of cherries, and I'm not gonna be able to keep track of all the cherries. Cherries are pretty good. I really like Rainier cherries. I don't know if people have Rainier cherries in other places, or if that's local, but we have those here, and they're very good. And then there's also those like, I don't know, just the dark red ones are good. Can't remember what those are called. Bing cherries. And those are really good. It's not cherry season right now. It's not really anything season. No, it's pumpkin season and cranberry season. Cranberries grow in a bog. And they were put there by a log. If you know what I'm referencing, you get a gold star. Actually, if you know what I'm referencing, leave me a comment about it. Because I don't know. I want to know, and I want to know if you're right. I'll tell you if you're right. I'll be nice about it. Speaking of being nice, I have gone on a journey lately. It's not, well, I don't know if speaking of being nice is the right word. Okay, so I'm an author, and I got this idea from another author, Sarah Cannon, over at Heart Breathings. Her channel's great. Go watch it if you like stuff about writing or about like planning. She does a lot of planning stuff. But anyway, this is getting away from me, by the way. These cherries don't look quite right. So I'm just gonna kind of do what I want. Fill these in. So anyway, she has this thing that she made. She hasn't shown it or anything. It's just something she's talked about. That's an evidence journal, because it's really easy, especially if you do creative work, but you know, in general, it's really easy to think that like, to only remember the bad things people have said, or to think you're just, you know, there's always like bad things you can think of, like, oh, I didn't do this good enough, or, you know. So the evidence journal is just evidence of like, here's good things that happened, or here's good things that people said, or, you know, just the positive stuff, so that you can be like, oh, wait, it's not all negative. And of course it's not, but it's really easy to just, you know, think in your head like, oh, you only remember the bad things, or they stick out more than the good things, and they shouldn't. But our brains are kind of programmed to think like that, because I guess that helps in the while. I don't know. It's not something that matters for a lot of modern things, but worrying about problems and about like what, you know, being like, oh, here's something bad that happened and this hurt, so I shouldn't do it. It's like, oh, I touched the stove. Well, don't touch the stove. Okay, great. You won't burn yourself. But you can't really, that doesn't really work when it's, you know, so I mean, you'll remember the time that you burned yourself on the stove more than like the 1,000 times you touched the stove and nothing happened. So, so I think that, you know, that helps our brains. It helps us survive. Like when it's stuff like that, that's like, oh, you know, you need to like not do this one thing that causes you pain. But if the thing that is a problem is like, oh, someone said something mean, well, it's like the stove, you're going to remember the time that something hurt more than the times that it didn't, because your body's like, hey, You gotta avoid the things that hurt to stay alive. But people's opinions and stuff, that's, it's not the same as touching a hot stove. And there's not really anything you can do about it. So, I don't know. So then the evidence journal is just a nice way to have everything collected together that's like, here's good things. And I haven't put mine together yet, but I spent the last 2 days, that's why I haven't had time to do videos. I just spent the last 2 days going through basically everything people have said about my books over the last 15 years. And boy, was that a journey. It was actually a helpful journey. I've read most of them before. But seeing them all together, like, okay, so here's the thing that happened. So, okay, I have this series, this Renegade X series. It doesn't really matter what it's about. I mean, you can look it up, but I won't go into it. But it's like, it's a young adult superhero series. And, like, the point is just that it's one that people love. And it's probably what people know me for. And my phone just disconnected from my camera. Why? Well, it's back now. Anyway, so so books 1, 2, and 3 are excellent. If I do say so myself, which I do, but most people agree. Book 4 has some issues, and I was in a lot of pain when I was writing book 4. And I probably shouldn't have done it, but at the same time, what are you supposed to do? Give up on life just because you're in constant chronic pain? That doesn't work for me. So, and I put too many hopes on that book. I thought if I just got it written, everybody would be happy and it would, make money and do well like the other books had done. And none of those things happened. I hurt myself a lot finishing that book. Like physically, mentally, I don't know. And maybe that shows. Maybe that was not a good thing to do. I mean, I know it wasn't. I talk about that a lot on here. And so I wasn't really in a great place, but people maybe didn't like it. I don't know. Some people did. But I got in my head that people really hated it. And I just felt so burnt out at that point because, so it's something that I have struggled with. And I did write another book. I wrote book 5. Still felt a bit like, I don't know, like I was having to push through stuff to do that. I'm going to call this done. I'm going to move on to another picture. Okay, so I felt like, I'm just going to random pick. Okay, we're doing this. It's like a Mediterranean house. So, I don't know. I had a lot of baggage about that book. And it's not my best book, but it's not that bad. I mean, I don't know. But some people hate it. I guess just because it has emotions in it. And it does get a bit dark. But also, I think it's all warranted. I don't know. There's like people that just want the characters to not have problems or something. And if you haven't read it, like this probably doesn't mean anything. These stairs are not right. So, but the important thing is I felt like I had disappointed everyone, that I had ruined the series for everyone, that I just really dropped the ball, went off brand, didn't whatever people were like, well, I don't know, like some people were mad about it, but I don't think they were really fans. So anyway, the point is, I went on this journey knowing that eventually, I knew that the most things would be for the first book in the series, and that then, and books 2 and 3 did pretty well. So I thought, those will be good. When I get to book 4, it's going to be real hard. I thought the whole thing was going to be really hard. But you know what? The hardest part was getting started. Once I get started, this project was actually not that bad. And I learned a lot. And I'm glad I did it. I don't recommend looking up your reviews. Don't do that. But don't do this at home, kids. But if you get to a point where you want to do something like that, it actually was very helpful. And you know what I learned? I learned that the people who hated book 4 hated books 1 through 3 also. Because it's really hard for me to keep track of I don't know who people are, I don't remember from book to book, like, oh yeah, this person reviewed this person reviewed that. But the way that I was doing this, I did end up, seeing like, oh yeah, this person always reviews. And some of those people were fans. And some of those people always come back to review the books and say, I hate this. Why? Why are you doing that? Like, don't read it. It's not, they're like people who are like, I think the premise is great, but she doesn't know what she's doing with it. And it's like, yeah, guess what? You don't like my writing. Just don't do this to yourself. But I mean, I guess they're paying me. They're paying for the books like everybody else. So I don't know. Maybe I don't have complaints. Like, who's really winning there, But those people, the ones that were so mean and so loud about hating book 4 and being like, this is it, I'm not reading this series anymore, it's the last straw. Those people never liked it. Like, they were not actually fans. Like, one of them had given that one the same review that it was like the same star rating that they gave to like all the books, and they really didn't like any of them. And that one was just the last straw of like, and it's like, yeah, that's you finally realizing you don't like this. You don't like this character. You don't like how I write. You just don't like it. And that's fine. Like, it's fine if people don't like it. They could, they don't have to be so mean about it. But, I mean, it's just a review. It's not for me. Reviews aren't for you, even if they say they are. They're not for the authors. Those are for people. Those are for other people to read and for the reviewer themselves to just get out what they think and feel. And a lot of times it relates more to their feelings. So if they're like, this character is whiny and angsty, and I'm like, really? I think they just have feelings? Like, maybe the person who wrote that, maybe they have problems with feeling like they're too whiny and angsty and they got to take it out on other people. I don't know. Or maybe they really feel that way. And again, I mean, you know what? It's fine. They don't have to read it. Or they can read it. I guess they can just not like it. The important part is I need to not think that those people matter. Because that's not who I'm writing for. First of all, I'm writing for me. Even if someone's a fan or whatever, I of course really want to please the fans. But that is a lot of pressure. And I don't know, like, the real fans tend to just like what I make. And it's hard for me to remember that. But seeing it this way and looking at it all so much, and there was people across different series who, were reviewing them and being like, some people, they didn't like some of my other stuff because it came from Renegade X and they were like, the other stuff's not for me. Some of them were like, I didn't think I was going to like this because I like a Renegade X book. This is very different, but they were like, nope, it's great. Some people are just like, I will read anything she writes. Keep them coming. Okay, I'm done with this. I'm going to move on. This is a little bit wonky. I feel like if I wasn't talking at the same time, this might come out better, but you know what? I don't know if that's true. And, I've drawn that one before. Okay, wait, I'm going to close my eyes, I'm going to pick. Oh, I've drawn this one before. I actually did a video on it. I haven't, narrated it yet, but I did. Okay, here we go. This one's a house. I'm going to turn it this way, because this is the way it goes. It's a landscape. There's a loud car outside. Okay. Covering this up. My mouse is really it's got lights on it, and I worry I'm going to try and trim it out, so you probably won't see it, but I just don't want to forget to trim it out and have it be this epilepsy light off in the corner. I don't know. Anyway, it just looks really fast on the screen. So what I learned is also, okay, so some people are like, these books are great. They have such great depth of character, or the books are deep and they explore all these important concepts, and they have deep there's a lot of character growth. The characters are great. It's the best. And other people say the exact opposite. They're like, these books are so shallow. These characters don't grow at all. There's nothing big tackled in this. There's no good concepts or whatever that. It's just, there's nothing special about it. It's all just I don't know. I can't even think of the right words, but you know what I mean. They're just this is not, it doesn't delve into anything deep. And so then I'm like, how can both of these things be true? They can't be both true, I don't think. So, I mean, it's just a difference of opinion. Now, I'm going to say that the people who think that there's character growth and depth to the story are the right ones, but who am I to say? But, you know, I mean, life is short. Stand up for your projects, you know? I think that those other people who don't like it, I don't know what it is that makes somebody think that one thing is shallow and someone else sees the same thing and thinks it's deep. And I mean, I get even more like about other people's works, things that I like to read. And then if you ever go like to write a review or you just happen to see it, or you're like, surely everyone in the world will agree that this is perfect, because it is. And then you go look at reviews for it, and some people agree that it's perfect, but some people have really mean things to say, and you're just like, what? How? Why? What? Did we read the same book? And then I get so upset. I can't look at other reviews for things that I like. And I mean, if it's something I hate, maybe I want to commiserate and see, oh, you know, who else hated it. But I don't really do that, and I don't write hateful reviews or bad reviews at all. I don't know. I mean, I will if it's like items I'm reviewing, you know, that's different. Like, because I get review items through Amazon Vine, and I will give my honest opinion about that. I mean, I won't like lie about books or something, but it's like, if I hated it, I'm not going to go out of my way to be all like, I hated this book, because I mean, I'm also an author, and that's just kind of bad form if you are, I don't know, attacking your colleagues, basically. Because it's like, you know how that feels. You don't want that. So that can be tough if you feel like you can't have, I don't know, that expression. But also, you know, whatever. It's not that important. I'm just saying, if there's something where people don't like a book that I liked, and not even one that I wrote, just one that I liked, I get so upset. I'm like, how can they not see that it's perfect? And I mean, the same with like movies and stuff, but I don't know. I feel like books feel so intimate sometimes that it feels extra bad when somebody like doesn't get it or doesn't like it. And you're like, but these characters are my best friends now. How could you say that about them? So, you know. So what I learned is book 4 of my series might not have been the best. But the people that made me feel so bad about it did not deserve my time or my feelings or anything. And they were not fans who I somehow horribly betrayed. They were people who just didn't like it. Ever. They never liked it. It was not ruined for them. It was just people finally giving up who like didn't like the series or the main character, especially like in the first place. Just thought like, oh, this premise is cool, and someday she's gonna like write it the way I want her to. If you're 4 books. 4 books into something. I mean, if you're even like 1 book into something and the author's not writing it the way you think that they should, you probably just disagree on what the story's gonna be in general, or like what you want stories to be, or, you know, so like I think hanging around hoping that it's going to change is a fool's errand. It's not going to. So like, I don't know. But let me also tell you a thing. One of my favorite reviews I've ever gotten is for Dragonbound, and it is one where someone said, this is literally the worst book I've ever read. And they felt disgusted with themselves for finishing it. And I don't know why, but I love that review. It just makes me feel so powerful. Like, I made someone feel disgusted with themselves. Now, the book is fine. I don't think they should have felt that way. Like, I don't know, you know. Which I guess makes it funny, because if I was like, oh no, this book is disgusting, like, I would feel bad, but like, it's not. I mean, they didn't say it was. They just said they felt disgusted with themselves. If I don't think there's a reason to feel that way. So, you know. But I don't know. That was the only negative review that I saved for my evidence journal, because something about that is just so freeing and so like a negative review can be empowering. Like I don't know. I'm just going about my life and somehow it's like ruining this person or like making them ruin themselves. I don't know. Okay. This turned out really good, I think. And it's been about 20 minutes, so I guess I'm going to call that good. I only did 3. Let's look through them again. And this guy I wrote or drew different time. This is Fernandabo. I don't know if I spelled that right. We just made it up. It looks like a little chocobo, but not. I think it's just supposed to be a bird, but I love his little, like, I don't know, almost curtsy. It's cute. This, I like some things about this, but it doesn't super look like a pile of cherries. It does a little bit, and I think if I painted it, it would. It's our Greek house. Actually, I don't know if it's Greek. It looks Greek, but I don't know. I don't know my Mediterranean architecture that well, but it's definitely Mediterranean. And then this beautiful cottage house. So I guess that's it for today because I feel like that's enough. And this one looks really good. So I'm going to end on that note. I don't know if I really said enough about my journey of evidence. Basically, to end that one, I feel good about it. I feel like nothing matters. None of it matters. People misunderstand and they like it or they don't like it. People like it for different reasons, but sometimes it's the same thing, or like they see completely opposite things in it, and I can't control that, I guess. And I didn't let anybody down. I mean, maybe I did a little bit, I don't know, but I think a lot of it is just that the landscape changed between books 3 and 4, because I always have a long gap. And you know what? At this point, it's been 4 years since I released a book in that series. I'm one of those people. Now, that's mostly due to health problems and also burnout from like hurting myself writing these books, that then I felt like there wasn't really, I don't know, a reason to have done that. But there's still a lot to love about the last 2 books I've done in that series, so I don't know. Oh no, I'm getting ink on this. I would like to write more. But, you know, no promises. We'll see. I have 3 series going right now. 2 of them I think I could finish. And then that one, Running at X, is kind of open. Like, I don't know if I ever want it to be done, but also who knows? Oh no, I've got ink all over this box. I'm getting ink everywhere. Where did all this ink come from? Probably my pen full of ink, but like, where? Alright, I gotta go wash my hands. Like and subscribe. See you next time on The Cluttered Corner.